So Clint, pretty happy to get the first win on the board?
Yeah, I've been. Winnie's been calling me Owen all week, so it was nice to get the win so he can drop that one. Yeah, it's a bit of relief. It's sort of rewards the boys for all the hard work they've put in over the summer.
Yeah, what was the biggest difference between, I guess, the last 3 weeks and tonight? What did you see?
Look, bar the Glenorchy game, I think there's certainly been effort there against Clarence and Launceston last week. We probably just weren't good enough. We didn't finish off our goals, whereas tonight we battled hard in the second half and were able to capitalise on some of the good play we had, and I think that was the difference.
What was the message at half-time? I guess it was not a massive change, but I guess after half-time it was a really tight game and you guys really got the momentum on your side. What was said by the playing group to get the momentum on your side?
Yeah, we changed our game plan a little bit this week, and I think a few of the boys went away from that, and when we did, it opened us up and Kingston capitalised and scored goals, and I was pretty direct with a few of them that if you can't do what we're asking, then you won't be playing next week, and I think we executed pretty much everything in the second quarter well, the second half well. I think we scored 11 goals to 4 after half-time, which was just outstanding.
Yeah, I thought Big Hayden Smith in the ruck tonight, he really stood up and made his presence felt around the ground. What did you make of his game?
He was outstanding, and we were rotating him and Benny McGuinness forward, and Benny McGuinness strained his abductor early in the game, so Haydo pretty much rucked the whole second half. And you know, for a guy of his size to be able to win most of the ruck taps and then compete at ground level was just, couldn't have asked any more from him.
Yeah, Timmy Mosquito was again pretty lively tonight. He's a pretty exciting player to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, no, Timmy's great, and he's a funny little character too. And I know when I said to him at half time, I'm moving you forward, his eyes lit up pretty much. And we brought them into the game in the second half, the NT boys. You know, they play a pretty slick game of footy, and I think sometimes if we fart ass around with the ball, it takes them out of the game. Getting it in there quickly certainly lets them do their thing, and they had some good passages of play in the second half.
Josh McGuinness, a hamstring injury?
Yeah, he felt a pinch and he kept trying to run on it, and he said it just kept grabbing, so we didn't want to risk it anymore and tear it or anything like that. So he come off, and that was pretty early in the game, so we're behind the 8 ball straight up. We lost a midfield rotation, but yeah, the boys battled well.
So was it just a bit of a cautious thing, keeping him off?
No, he definitely pinched it. So whether it's 2 or 3 weeker, or it didn't do major damage, it wasn't like a major tear or anything like that, because he could still run. But it's one of those ones that can be really annoying.
It looked like Leo Harrison late also seen a bit of an injury.
He was cramping bad. He had the job of tagging Ryan Matthews, and I think he did a pretty good job on Ryan for a period of the game. But Ryan's elite fitness sort of started to take its toll on Leo, and he was battling a bit with cramp towards the game, but yeah, he did a pretty good job on him.
Was it tough during the week, I guess, after a couple of losses, getting the boys to kind of apply themselves in the same way leading into this game? Were you really pleased with the way they approached that?
Yeah, look, I guess everyone's been asking during the week, it's the same situation as last year and things like that, but we've got 10 or 11 new faces in there, so even though the win and loss ratio is still the same, it's a completely different group. But our leadership group stood up through the week. Phil Bell-Chambers, Reece Sutton, Matt Franklin, guys like this, and they certainly took that out onto the ground, and the boys followed them.
Jacob Gilby announced during the week, mate, that he's re-signing the club. Is there any update on when Bombers fans can see him running around here?
Yeah, I tried to con him into playing in the Suits tonight, but he wants to get a couple of weeks of training under his belt before he runs out there, because he's had a fair bit of time off, and he trained on Thursday night and looked pretty sharp, and I said to him, I'm naming you, and he goes, no you're not. So he just wants a couple of weeks of training first before we get him out there.
Does the bye come at the right time? I guess obviously off a win you never like to have a bye, but I guess with the injuries, especially to McGuinness tonight, does it come just as a good time to freshen the guys up?
Perfect time. We've had a few guys that went in there with niggles as well, and they were able to get through the game, so a week off would be a bonus.
Trent, mate, obviously disappointing not to get the win, but what did you take out of the game?
Yeah, we just had a chat with the boys downstairs. We thought we got a lot of things right probably for 110 minutes. We probably had a little 10-minute lapse where the things that we identified that Lauderdale would do well, we gave them. And it ended up costing us that little patch there where they were able to get on top and put some scoreboard pressure on us. And so it's all about trying now to find that extra 10 minutes to get that consistent 120 performance for us.
Is that just pressure, I guess, of a young group when the pressure's on? I guess Marcus Davies went down at half-time or midway through the third quarter. Was he a massive loss for the young group? Yeah,
well, Marcus obviously is one of our leaders. He's one of our assistant coaches as well, and he holds that back line together and he gets it organised. So, you take that link out of it. We put Mitch Carter back behind the footy then, who was playing forward in a different role for him this week. And, it steadied us down. But, you lose Marcus's drive, his run, his carry, and his voice and direction as well. It's hard, but other people did step up in the breach there, and it is what it is, unfortunately, and hopefully, he gets some good news that he's been able to weight bear at the moment, which is really positive. So he'll get it looked at tomorrow, and then we'll see how that is, whether he misses any period.
A leg injury then?
Yeah, it's just in his knee. So he just couldn't run at 100%, and in the game today you can't really carry that, so he couldn't give the effort with the injury that he was carrying, so it was best to take him off with it. You didn't want to aggravate it or make it worse and potentially risk losing him for an extended period of time.
Young Lockie Clipper was pretty good today. How did you see his performance?
Yeah, you always know what you're going to get from Cliff. I was lucky enough to be his line coach in the Mariners last year, so he's a super talent. He's in and under, but he's also starting to win a little bit more outside footy this year. I think playing next to Ryan Matthews has really helped him. Ryan takes a lot of attention from the opposition, and he's able to get the ball out to Lockie, where everyone knows that Lockie can win it inside, but it's really pleasing to see him add the outside portion to his game this year, which helps him take his footy to the next level.
How were the boys after the game? Obviously coming back off the bye, how was the mood after the game?
After tonight's game, obviously flat. We obviously had a plan in place, so we're here to win the game. So our focus was to win and bank 4 points, which we didn't get over the line. But we spoke about you got to fail fast, because we've got to front up again on Wednesday against Glenorchy, who obviously had a pretty large win tonight. Just quickly looking at some of the scores, we've just got to get over it real quickly and move on. That'll start. We'll have to do some recovery tomorrow. The boys are downstairs in the ice bath now. So it's just about getting our body and our mind right for a massive challenge against a pretty red hot Glenorchy at the moment.
You said during the week you'd just be kind of a wait and see to see how the boys pull up, leading into such a close turnaround. Initially after that game, how do you think? Any other injury concerns? Or
just the normal couple little corkies here and there, but I don't think nothing that should hold anyone out of the game. Obviously, the boys are sore, but you think Glenorchy are going to be just as sore. They've just gone through a game as well, so. We've just got to do all the recovery things right, and when you think about it, we play on a Saturday and our main training sessions on a Wednesday, and we ask guys to be ready to go then. Obviously a game's a whole different type of intensity than training, but their bodies should present fine, as long as we do the right things recovery wise.
Anyone from Mercury Cup pushing for selection on Wednesday?
We had Tyler Carter playing the Mercury Cup. Hugh Johnson potentially is available back from injury, one of our other ruckmen, so we've got some height to come back in, which probably is handy against Glenorchy as well. Tyler Carter played really well in a practice game against Glenorchy here, and Hugh Johnson too. So we've got some guys there, and some of our young guys are really stepping up in the Mercury Cup. I think young Mitchell Cook kicked 5 goals today, and I think he kicked 5 goals in round 1, so it's fantastic. But he's only a young lad at 16 as well, but it's fantastic to see that form as well.
Well, the message, obviously a quick turnaround, so the message is going to be to embrace the challenge of Glenorchy on Anzac Day, such a big occasion.
We briefly touched on it, and obviously in the lead up we'll talk a little bit more about what an honour and a privilege it is to play on what's a pretty important day in our country, in our history, and it's not something that we take for granted. I know when I was at Hobart City last year, I remember tuning into the live stream and just thinking to myself how jealous I was that the club that I was at that point in time wasn't playing on that day. The nation stops, there's nothing else to do. You come and watch the footy. The Glenorchy people support their club, so we expect a really good crowd here. So we want to put on a good show to continue for our brand. I think we gave our supporters tonight something that they can be proud of. They can see that we have a crack and we play a good style of footy, and it's just be like we said to the boys, just got to find 10 more minutes, and that's with a young group. That'll come with time as well. But so we've got to hurt from tonight, but really embrace. Playing on a really nice occasion or a really big occasion where everyone's watching us again, so a chance to showcase our brand.
Yeah. Somebody had a bit to do with the last couple of years, Nick Hutchinson, first game in the Yellow and Black tonight. How did you assess his game? Yeah,
I thought his first half was excellent. I thought probably in the second half he had a bit of cramp, which is only going to be natural. Nick was injured in January with his MCL, so he's had a block of 3 weeks of full training. He's been doing a lot of his rehab stuff, but he's flexible. He gives us composure behind the footy. He uses it well. He knows when to go and get off his man and actually be an offensive weapon for us as well. And he takes intercept marks, he can actually lock down his opponent. So, you know, we're really stoked to have him in, and it gives us a lot more flexibility. It allowed us to flip Mitch Carter forward tonight to give us a little bit of a different look. And we're really stoked with him as well. And I really think tonight as well, our midfield brigade, you mentioned Lockie Clifford, I thought, you know, Ryan Matthews was outstanding, and Will Campbell as well.